And so I think it's crucial that you explore new opportunities to connect with them and show them how valuable they are to you. And like you said, if someone were to walk out your restaurant and say, "Thank you, I had a wonderful time," you certainly would say, "Well, you're welcome. We hope to see you again someday. We're so glad you enjoyed your meal." And that's what reviews are.
What's up, Zach Oates here, author, entrepreneur, and customer relationship guru. Welcome to Give an Ovation, growth strategies for restaurants and retailers, where we find industry leaders to share their secrets to grow your business. This podcast is sponsored by Ovation, the actionable guest feedback tool that works on or off premise and is easy, real-time, and actually drives revenue. Learn more at ovationup.com. Welcome to another edition of Give an Ovation. So glad you're with us. And I am joined by the Tom James. Let me tell you a little bit about Tom James. He's an award-winning media veteran and founder of the San Francisco-based company Overall Reviews that exclusively handles review response and analytics for restaurants nationwide. Tom, we are so glad that you're with us, man.
Well, happy to be with you. And that's a very generous introduction you gave me. I think anyone can win an award if you look deep enough, right? There's always some award.
Yeah, my mom's given me plenty of awards. I was her favorite second son. So that's
there you go. There you go. Yeah, I have some of those too. So.
Well, awesome. So tell me a little bit about what does Overall Reviews do? I know I gave a quick intro, but what types of companies do you help? Is it only in San Francisco? Do you help nationwide? I mean, obviously I said restaurants nationwide. So here's a softball question for you.
We do work with only restaurants, but nationwide. And what we do is we take the work and worry out of managing reviews. Restaurateurs, as you know, have so much on their plate. And right now, a whole nother heap of stuff on their plate, and they just are too busy to answer reviews. Sometimes maybe they don't have the right temperament to answer them. They take things, it's personal. They take things personal. So, and a lot of times they just don't know the right way to respond. And we take that off their plate. We try to make their life a little easier, and only with restaurants right now. So.
Dude, I love that. And reviews is a portion of our platform. And while we are a guest feedback, we really focus on that live chat, as you can see right there. We do help our customers get more reviews. We help, some of our customers, we've not increased it by 22%, but by 20x.
Wow.
So 20 times more reviews with the systems that we have. And again, we're not a review company at Ovation, but we do believe in the power of reviews. And a outcome of what we do is giving people like you, Tom, more work. So
I appreciate that. But really what made me interested in Ovation, how I found you, and was because I love what you guys are doing. This, creating relationships again. I almost think maybe it's a lost art. I mean, there's this romantic notion of the restaurant owner strolling through the restaurant, right? And putting his arm or her arm around the customers and saying, "Oh, you're having a great meal tonight." And maybe that's just in the movies, but I think that's what used to happen. Like restaurant.
Oh, look at Danny Meyer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously revolutionary restaurateur. And that was his whole thing, right? Was hospitality was about how people feel. And he went around and he talked to people, and sure, he got into one or two fisticuffs, but overall, he was obsessed with that experience and building that relationship.
Well, I think that's everything. I mean, we do what we call customer appreciation marketing. And I think that's basically what you do too, is really giving the restaurant owners and the staff a way to show that they appreciate their customers. I honestly believe in the last 10, maybe more years, restaurant owners became celebrities, celebrity chefs, and that the hottest restaurant in town was really hard to get into. And so restaurant owners it kind of felt like you were lucky to go eat at this restaurant. Mm-hmm. And that's an inverted relationship, and I think every restaurant owner right now, be it a celebrity chef or the hottest place in Tulsa or wherever, some small town that doesn't get celebrity chefs, they still realize how much they miss their customers, how much they value their customers, and how much they wish they could connect with their customers. And I mean, I'm not here to promote Ovation, but I think that's what they kind of can do with Ovation, and which is why I like your platform so much and what you're trying to do, what I understand that you're trying to do. I don't have the, total understanding of it, but
yeah, no, you got it spot on. And I think that's why, when I checked you guys out, it's the other side of it, right? Well, what happens when someone, for whatever reason, doesn't utilize Ovation to give their feedback, and they go online and they leave a review that isn't positive, or they use Ovation and now you're getting 5 to 10 times more 5-star reviews? How do you manage that? And I think that one of the important things is, if someone sends you a text message and you don't respond to them, how does it make them feel? Right? It makes them feel like you don't care about them. If someone takes the time to leave you a review and you don't respond, how does it make the customer feel? Right? And so I guess going into that, let me ask you, why do you feel like it's important in this day and age to connect with customers individually?
Well, I mean, those are great points you brought up, but in this day and age specifically, I think it's going to be harder than ever for customer service to shine. If your servers have masks on, so there's no more of that warm, friendly smile. There's going to be a lot less banter between customer and server, or customer and staff. People might be ordering from an iPad or their iPhone, sitting in a booth in your establishment, and there'll be almost no interaction. Or worse yet, maybe their only interaction with your restaurant is through a Grubhub driver or Uber Eats guy or girl. And so I think it's crucial that you explore new opportunities to connect with them and show them how valuable they are to you. And like you said, if someone were to walk out your restaurant and say, "Thank you, I had a wonderful time," you certainly would say, "Well, you're welcome. We hope to see you again someday. We're so glad you enjoyed your meal." And that's what reviews are. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because that's connecting with that one person. However, hundreds or thousands of people are actually looking at the review that person left online, and looking at how you handled it. And to me, it's common sense. People like to do business with people they like, with nice people, with people who seem like they're cool. And I think review responses give you a platform to do that.
So let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of it, right? Let's say that someone, for whatever reason, doesn't feel like they can afford services like yours to respond to reviews for them. What's like an anatomy lesson of a good review response?
There's so many, but I think the positive reviews are pretty easy. I think everyone can handle a positive review. You thank them. You try to show that you actually read their review. If someone says, "Oh, we came in for our anniversary," we'll be like, "Happy anniversary, Joe. We're so happy that you celebrated with us and it had a great time. Thank you." But on negative reviews, that's where it gets difficult. And you still want to thank them. I mean, every single negative review that a restaurant gets, that person came in the restaurant wanting to have a great experience. I don't think that many people go into a place or go, with the concept, "Oh, I'm going to screw these guys if I can." So you do want to thank them for coming in, and you want to thank them for their feedback. And then you don't want to get defensive. You really want to address it as calmly as you can. You don't start a fight. You don't want to prove you're right and they're wrong. You just want to show that you hear them. If there's something factually incorrect, you want to set the record straight. Like, for example, I have a barbecue client. Do you have time to hear a little story?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I have a barbecue client, and they get
I just ate barbecue today.
Oh man, I might have to run out to my client. They have 5 or 6 locations. They get reviews that say, "Oh, I don't know if this place is legit. I didn't see any smoke." And so if we didn't respond to that review, that would be kind of a fact. But the fact is, these guys smoke all night long. They smoke from the minute they close till 8, 9, 10 in the morning, depending on which meat that we're talking about. And so they don't want these tons of smoke around the parking lot. they smoke at night. And so we have to say, hey, we absolutely are legit barbecue. We're smoking all night. We'd be happy to show you our pit next time you come in, and you know, the real hardwood we use and all those kind of things. So it's about, if something's factually incorrect, you just politely take the opportunity to set the record straight and even promote your stuff. You could, you know, if someone says, oh, I think they use canned tomato sauce on their spaghetti, you can say, oh no, we use, you know, Roma tomatoes from so-and-so farm up the road. And it's an opportunity to even promote how great of a job you're doing.
Love that.
So, you know, you don't want the record to stand with what the customer thinks he or she knows. Now, if there's a real problem, you do say, you know, you do apologize, and you do say what you're going to do to address it. And it's, you know, it's just common sense. It's being polite. It's having good manners. It's being calm. And, you know, there's some nuances that can kind of turn the tide in your favor, but, you know, maybe if we can get into those some other time.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. Cause for example, I can think of an experience where my wife left a review for a pizza place, and we love pizza, right? Mm-hmm. She lived in Italy. I'm from New Jersey, which is incidentally where pizza was invented. And, you know, so there's really great pizza in Jersey, and, she actually makes delicious pizza. And so we went to a pizza place, and she said, the pizza was kind of bland. And this owner was like, well, sorry that it's not frozen pizza, because we have fresh made from scratch pizza, and, you know, you must be some kind of a pizza expert. And she was like, and so then she updated her review, was like, well, I'm not a pizza expert, but I do go to the International Pizza Expo. I did live in Italy, and I do make my own pizza, and I go to New York a couple times a year. And so yes, I do know a little something about pizza. Right. And, but like, what did that do for him? Like, yeah. I don't understand why the owner would respond so aggressively. Like, and I get it. I get that it's personal, right? It's your livelihood, right? But you need to take these opportunities to improve. And if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, right? Like, so I think it's a really important factor of what you said, of not getting personal, but flipping that, utilizing those experiences to say, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I would love to come back in and have you try something else, because we use this and we use that. And, you know, to promote the good things that you're doing, I think that's a really smart strategy. And certainly better than getting defensive and attacking the reviewer.
Well, if what you explained is true, it was the wrong tactic for sure. But, you know, that owner could have taken the opportunity. If you have someone who has a little knowledge or true passion about what you do for a living, you know, if you're a barbecue chef and this guy cooks in competitions, invite him in and say, let's talk shop. Let's compare some stuff, because then you're cool, you know, and that person says, wow, this person values my opinion. Like your wife would have said, oh, this person wants to hear, you know, it's an opportunity, you know, every review, and I know it's a cliche, but it is an opportunity. Just like, you know, these tough times we're in, and everyone says, oh, they're an opportunity. And you're like, my restaurant isn't open. How is that an opportunity? But bad reviews truly are an opportunity. You can not only win that customer back over, but you can show the rest of the universe who's reading these reviews that you're a caring, cool owner who values customers. And that's what it's all about, as you said earlier, valuing customers. You know,
I love that. I think that's a great point. So I know as we're wrapping up here, what other last piece of advice, Tom, would you give to our listeners and viewers?
You know, I just think everyone's worried about the new era. And I do think this is a time where all restaurants are going to have to up their game a little bit. You know, people's dining out habits have changed, you know, if they come back at all, and we hope they do, you know, we need to treat them just a little better. You know, you might not be able to make your food any better, and you probably don't have to, but I do think the customer experience can always be a little better. They can always be happy with the experience, even if the food isn't bad. And you see that a lot of times. I mean, if the food isn't perfect, if the experience was great and someone was really nice and they want to come back. And that's what we have to do in this business right now is, even if there's fewer people who are going out, the ones who are comfortable with going out, let's get them to come out a little more often. And eventually the whole universe will be back out and dining out, I hope. But we got to really value the customers in a little bit of an elevated way. And let's hope that turns into a little more business.
I love that, because at the end of the day, it's like, as we talked about right before we hit record, it's about building those relationships, right? And so often it's easy to get caught up, especially, when you've got one location, you got 5 seats in your restaurant, like, yeah, you care about every single person, and you can't give them that same attention as you go to 20 or 30 locations and, thousands of people a day. But that's when you have technology that can help implement it. That's when you have services like yours, Tom, that can help let that customer feel important, because the greatest of human desires is the desire to feel important. And I feel like if we miss that in our interactions with humans, be it in business, be it in dating, be it in our own family, be it in strangers, we're missing the whole point. And I think that when that comes out of a genuine love and appreciation to help that person, I feel like it shines through. And so anyway, Tom, here are my takeaways. 1, show appreciation to the customer. I think that's a really key point. 2, it's critical to respond, not just because of that person, but because of thinking of all the people that are going to read that review.
Right.
Love that. 3, actually, when you are responding to a review, make sure that you thank the person who wrote the review and actually show them that you read it, right? Respond to something specifically in that. 4, promote by showing how you do it or showcasing your brand. So when there's a negative review, promote to see actually what you're doing. And then lastly, up your game, make people, up your game, especially with the customer experience. Love that, Tom.
Great takeaways, and thank you for hearing all that. I mean,
yeah. No.
What about your book? Are we going to talk about that on live or no?
Yes, people can read my book. I will say, so it's called Dating Never Works Until It Does. 100 Lessons from 1,000 Dates. I went on over 1,000 dates before I met my wife, and I took 100 lessons that I learned and put them into a book. I will give you one thing though. The very last piece of advice is, don't take other people's advice in dating. End of the day, it's just like a restaurant brand. Like, you do what the best version of you would do, and that's where you're going to find success. So anyway, Tom, how do people find and follow you online?
They can follow me at Overall Reviews, any of my social media, although I don't do a ton of social media, as we talked a little bit before. I like to connect directly. But my website, overallreviews.com, and we're always out there working for the customer and not so much promoting ourselves maybe as much as we should be. But
hey, the cobbler's kids get the last ones to get the shoes, right?
Yeah. Well, any restaurateur that ever needs any advice, I'm always happy to help if they have a sticky review or something they don't quite know how to finesse their way around. And we've seen some really tough ones, and always happy to help. So
awesome. Well, Tom, today's ovation goes to you for improving the lives of restaurants and upping the game of customer experience in responding to reviews. Thanks for coming on, Tom, and sharing your wisdom.
Oh, it's great talking to you, and good luck with everything on your side.
Thanks, Tom.
All right.
Glad you're with us today, and thank you. Thank you to the risk takers, the troublemakers, the crazies who are keeping this world clothed and fed. You're the ones who deserve an ovation. Again, this podcast was sponsored by Ovation. To see how we can help you grow your business, go to ovationup.com. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, remember to give someone in your life an ovation today.